Good afternoon, guys. It's September 15th. Today is Wednesday, and we had a hell of a tough day, right? But we got a reversal and price went higher, which was a good thing, right? That is what I was hoping for since open, so before even pre-market. I was hoping for that up move today, So, but NQ was the one who screwed it up, But then eventually other markets held very well along with the internals, so that was the key, allowing us to hold the longs in other market. NQ you were allowed to do both shorts and long, right? But I choose to go stick with longs only. I did not take any shorts in NQ. So now here, remember yesterday's closing remark, right? They all closed into an important level, and buyers may step in from there in the overnight, right? So Russell, Dow and ES, all of them basically went higher from yesterday's closing area, pretty much, I would say. So or Globex low, I would say, but that was the idea, that they are there from yesterday, the way it closed, so that was the first hint going into today. And overnight today was neutral. That was another hint, right? There was no strong up or down move. So both are combined, buyers may drive it up higher today. Now tomorrow could be the different case. Tomorrow it may go down, but today that was the case. But NQ was the one which just screwed me big time today, but then eventually I was able to make a good amount of profit in NQ in my longs, but I did not give up, like started shorting. I did not do that. I stick with longs, just went with my guts and feelings, since you already know from Discord. So this one 31 was the price point yesterday, right, being mentioned in Discord for end of day buyers. So essentially we had a failed breakdown of 31 today, and then price took off, right? So I gave you the hint in Discord also around I think I gave you the hint around 9:42 or somewhere around that in Discord, that it may give you a failed breakdown, look for failed breakdown in ES. So I will put that screenshot from Discord right in the closing remark today, so you can see it. So I was looking for that failed breakdown, based on the internals, and it happened. So that was a long opportunity in ES. I'm not going to repeat everything else here, go through all these things, but the key areas: 400, 450, 600, 500, those are the key areas, right? And see here, 330, 300, those were the pending targets from yesterday's 317. That was the area that got hit today, and then price bounced, so now let's see, here, hold on, here, right? So overnight was balancing, right? And then we had a straight flush down to Globex low. It held it 31 area, right? Then we had a bounce, right? And then right of the open, which is around this, right, ES came down suddenly, right? But if you look at here, it basically opened right at yesterday's close, right? So AD was 0, which is fine, supposed to be, correct? Then this move came suddenly, right? It was not supposed to come that way down today, because it was all pointing higher, the way it became 31 as a Globex low and all this thing, right? But and internals were not, it was neutral. The other days they were like plus 1500, minus 1500, right? Today was no exhaustion, right? Nothing. And then NQ came down, right? Came down hard. Actually NQ went higher right of the open. So I was long from pre-market in NQ from that 390 area, 395 area, and then NQ shoots up higher straight to 433. So I was looking for 500 target, 100 points pretty much. and then suddenly damn thing just reversed from 430. I was like $6,000 plus profit in that trade, because I was only supposed to do one trade today, 100-point profit, and then damn thing just reversed on me. While these guys were holding, look at internals, right? While price went down, like yesterday, remember day before yesterday, AD was tanking. Today look at this, it was barely tanking, it was not even tanking, it was holding, right? That was the sign. Look at momentum, that price want to go higher across the board actually. Dow, Russell, and yes, only NQ was the problem. It just continued tanking down, so I actually held NQ for a while, but then I gave up, so I lost, from plus 6,000 to negative 3,000, and then I cut it because the way it was behaving, it was wrong actually. Somebody was manipulating it. But these things were holding all other markets. So that's why I typed in Discord to stick with longs, no shorts for other three markets, because this was not the sign to short, this was sign to go long, right? So you have to just disconnect NQ and just stick with longs here, with larger stop. That's it. So this was a long, failed breakdown long, right? But due to NQ, if you don't want to take it right off the open, you can skip it, right? Or if you take it, then you hold it with break-even stop. Simple, because by the time when price got here to 45 overnight high, NQ was tanking actually, right? But then, or maybe it was about to tank or something, right? But here, by looking at this, there is no way you want to bail out, not today, because already down move happened from last 3 days in a row, and I was giving you all the hints. So you should not bail out here. But let's say after NQ went down and you want to bail out here, at this point you can, but still I would suggest to hold it, But anyway, if you want to bail out, this was a time, based on NQ only. But then when the price came down here, look at this strong divergence, look at momentum, right? Before that, look at AD here. So this was the time to buy it, go long. If you missed this one, this was a perfect long. Yes, NQ was tanking, it can drag down, yes, but you look at Russell, Dow, yes, all of them were holding well, they were not moving down. So this was a long, right? While I was stuck in NQ at that point, because damn thing was going down, right? So I was managing my NQ, so I did not pay attention in ES, but this was a long. But later on, after this point onwards, when NQ started going higher, then I had a time to look into ES. So that's where when ES was doing chop, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, every time NQ goes higher and gets a rejection, ES comes down, right? But then here, everything was pointing higher actually, look at momentum quickly coming up. So it was ping-ponging here, but it was holding this 35, 37 area nicely. So every time when NQ pushes down, ES goes down, but then NQ bounce, ES bounce from the supports, right? So this was the sign. It was keep building it, the balance here. So then this was a long around 37 at this time now, because now price couldn't go down here, multiple efforts, right? So now it's up to NQ. If it makes a new low later on, then ES will go down, but then again this buyers will step it up, So here this was a good long now, because now price has enough time to go down. It couldn't, and it started going higher. This was the long I took at 37 right here, which I typed in Discord. So this was my first trade in ES, and then I just put the stop right here, because by the time I knew that NQ wants to go higher now, and look at this momentum, right? Look at this area, it's all pointing higher, nothing wrong, So Dow was going higher, Russell was going higher from here. So hold the damn stick longs, all the longs in all the indexes. NQ you have to manage it, but NQ had a target 500. So I held NQ from 340. I went long because remember I only took longs in NQ today. So 340 was my long in NQ, 37 in ES, Russell 11.2. Those were the three longs, and I held it all the way up to here. This was the max potential for the day, almost 70 area. This is where I build out ES. This is where I build out NQ around 480 or so, or 470 I would say. And then Russell I build out at 28 or so, all same time. And then this was not the trade, to trade at the later in the day. This was the trade or the breakout, because after price fails to go down, when NQ started moving higher, this was the trade, so these are the trades for today, and then it never pulled back, this was the long, nice longs today. So those are the story for indexes, right? So now, one more thing. Today's buyer preferred area to hold above in the overnight. So overnight, you do not want to see price going below. Ideally, these are the areas 64 to 61 for buyers to hold above. Ideally, if they want to go higher tomorrow, then further higher. This is the backup buyers area. Tomorrow, due to tomorrow, not day after tomorrow. So tomorrow it's a backup buyers area basically. If it falls here straight down, yes, buyers can step in. Now below this area, you have to assume that sellers may be coming back into the market, and then up to this area to decide. So that's for the story for ES. NQ 450 to 460 area pretty much, or 415 to 430. That's the area for buyers to hold above. Below both areas, sellers. So now crude, I did not trade it because I was busy in equities today, but the crude held above. Gold is just a piece of junk, so I did not even touch gold. Crude also I did not touch it. I'm not gonna touch these two the entire this week. I will wait for the next week to trade these two. But you can see it held above this area. Crude is now about 70.66, which it held it right above this area, buyers, and pretty much of the open it just shoots higher, and it tagged 70 to 50. Remember I said it may tag 70 to 50 today. 73.08 was a high today, right? So close enough for 50 points higher. But anyway, the point is it did tag this area, right? So that be all for today. Nothing fancy. I'll see you tomorrow.